Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the Noah Santiago Podcast. I'm here with my first guest,
Luis Valdez.
Luis Valdez. Luis Valdez is actually my brother. How does it feel to be my brother, man?
It's not as pros and its cons.
Let's start with the cons then, man. What are the cons?
I can't always drive a Corvette, and he can.
Hey, you can rent it for me, man.
I'm not going to rent a Corvette from you. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it on that bullshit app that they had, Toro.
Oh, Toro.
Mm-hmm.
You can rent like supercars on there.
Supposedly, I don't know if they have it in the Central Coast.
Would you do it?
I'll do it, but I don't want my wife to freaking kill me if I get died. Like if I died, then she's gonna go to my grave and fucking pull me out and be like, "What the hell did you do? This is not you. This is not Chito.
Yeah.
Chito's my other name, by the way."
Oh, Chito's your other name? What do you prefer to be called, Luis or Chito?
Depends. So this is a point of contention in the household as well. So I told my now wife, I don't want you calling me Chito because that's my childhood name.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, all her uncles started calling me that on my wedding day, and now I'm Hot Cheetos to them. But that's what my cousins used to call me too. All my cousins used to say Hot Cheetos. So with you, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could call me Pepe, you could call me anything you want, but my wife better not call me Chito. She better call me Luis Isaiah, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you Cheeto Fries, I guess.
That's pretty hot. They don't even make those anymore, I don't think.
They don't.
I don't think so.
Who knows? Let's get all the red 40 out of the world, man. That's all I know.
Well, that's like a leading cause for ADHD too.
Yeah, man. Mind control.
It's your diet, man. It's your diet. I mean, it's the same way like people say that they could only do protein. Honestly, it's kind of harmful at a certain standpoint because I think, well, I think I haven't read this, but I think that it causes more like aggression, probably microaggressions than
Red
not.
40?
No, like a pure protein
Oh, pure
diet.
protein.
Yeah, like I feel like it messes with your brain in ways that is not okay. Like even though we might have did that like 2,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, whatever, that's not what we do nowadays.
Yeah.
It also messes with your
Wow.
hormones, a bunch of other stuff.
Well, I think what happened is, we just got used to a low protein diet. America sells a low protein diet, and we're not used to what we're actually supposed to be eating, because protein is one of the best, it is the best source of food. You could live without carbohydrates and fat. Given, I do believe it's a good idea to have a balanced diet, but protein's the most essential part of the diet.
It's definitely essential, but I mean, think about it this way. In the 1940s and 50s, they were telling housewives that they could be drinking in the middle of the day, and it was like on Vogue and Vanity, and saying like, "Oh, it's like really good for you to be drinking like a glass of vodka, a glass of wine, like every single day."
Nothing's
And
changed.
now, like the, the leading research shows that no amount of alcohol is beneficial in any way. Whereas other things that people don't consume at all or as much, maybe like caffeine, kind of like that Zin you just popped open.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not for gum disease, but caffeine in its purity form is actually really good for dieting.
For
It's
the
good.
heart.
It's good for like a dopamine receptor. I'm assuming it touches that. Yeah, the heart, but you don't want heart palpitations. Though.
No, but just straight up coffee, straight up tea, it is good for the heart, contrary to what they tell you out there.
Yeah, I mean it's all in moderation, but that's like anything in life, right? You don't. I guess like alcohol, like there's really no benefit whatsoever. Like it kills the liver, kills your brain cells, it kills your wallet. Whereas something like caffeine, I guess, like a coffee, it kind of clears out your system too.
Yeah, helps you shit.
Yeah, I mean to say it bluntly, yeah, it
It's
helps.
a laxative.
Yeah, yeah.
Would
Well,
you
and it suppresses hunger.
would you say you're a caffeine addict?
Yeah, yeah. Not because I want to be though.
No.
No,
It,
it has to do most of the work. So my final year at university was the first time I started consistently drinking coffee or even drinking coffee in general. Prior to that, I never had it in the morning, never had it during the day or at night. And now, well, it goes up and down. I consume probably like 3 to 4 cups a day, which is a lot. But
Not too bad.
if you look at what's quantified on the K cup, it's like 60 milligrams per. So if
Mhm.
you multiply that by 4, then what you got, like 240? That's like
Exactly.
one Celsius or one monster.
Yeah, 240 is actually not that much. There's actually studies that we can consume up to like 400 to 500 milligrams and not be affected as long as we do it, kind of throughout the day and
That's too much,
and
dude.
before. I mean, it's whatever you think, but you know, there's studies out there.
It depends on the person too. Like the way it hits my liver, my body might hit yours differently.
Yeah, that
And
is true. Everyone has a different tolerance to drugs.
there's sensitivities to everything, right? So
Yeah,
like alcohol, caffeine. Like I remember the first time I started consistently drinking it, which again was during like final quarter university, one cold brew would get me wired, and I could literally like feel it in my head. I could just feel it going and going and going. Luckily, I was able to focus and type and write reports, but I would always have to go back and read it and say, does this make grammatical sense? Are there run-on sentences? There were plenty of run-on
mind
sentences.
rapid firing.
Yeah, and this is before like open AI as well. So I wasn't using AI. I was using my own thoughts. Now, sometimes when I'm on caffeine or like when I'm trying to make things more efficient, even at work, I'll still compose something, but I won't care about the grammatical errors and I'll try to get the gist of what I'm trying to say. Then I paste it on ChatGPT and I tell it like refine this, make it more corporate, more professional, add bullet points, and people really don't have time to read shit like when you're in corporate. Like people don't want to read paragraphs.
Yeah,
Contrary to belief of what they teach you in the school system, people just want the answer and they just want it to be good. They don't want negative, and if there is a negative, they want the answer to what are the next steps. So people hate coming to their bosses and higher ups with problems. But if you come to them with problems and you have answers, then they're like, "Oh, you're going to handle it," and that's
right.
what they pay you to really do, just to be a quite literally a manager, right? So that's why a lot of the time people in those positions are called managers because they're just managing
So
other
you're
people's bullshit.
so are you using AI every single day?
Not every single day, but what I like to do as well is I'll spend the time to manually collect data. So like if I'm looking at SKUs and SKU rationalization, so if I'm looking at what's top performers in the market for us internally, I will graph what we ship or distribute out of our plant to like our distributor. And then I will use that data that I have on Excel sheets and I'll ask ChatGPT to basically create charts and visuals because a lot of people are visual learners. So
Right.
if I type out 6 paragraphs, which I could easily do, no one's going to have the attention span to read that, at least not a majority of people.
Yeah.
The higher and higher you go up on the corporate ladder and you talk to people that are like vice presidents, CEOs, they don't give a shit about reading a report. They just want to know the facts quick and easy. And that's it. So if you could create a chart or you could create bullet points, that's what helps the most. But you have to have the correct information because that's another like big no no. If you come in with the wrong information and you're misleading someone, they're never going to trust you again. And that's just in life usually too. Like first impressions count. You could always change someone's opinion and perspective, but that first impression really could define what someone thinks about you for the rest of your tenure, or even life, if it's like a life relationship. People might forget it or be forgiving 20, 30 years from now, but it just depends.
Would you say that we're going through like so right now we're going through an revolution, right?
Mhm.
The just the come up of AI. Would you say that people are just going to slowly become cyborgs?
Yes and no. I mean, in my lifetime, they say in our lifetime, I should say, because you're younger than me, that most people are going to live past 100 because of the revolution. And the revolution meaning like, excuse me, they're using like AI to compare and contrast like images. And this is a pretty cool study I read where they can see, they could cross reference essentially like 100,000 images in whatever amount of time, like say a minute. I'm just throwing a infactual number out there. I don't know what the actual timing is, but it's just way faster than it used to be, I should say, to keep
Mhm.
it in layman's terms. And it could cross reference that many images to where they're using historical imagery of people that had cancer. And then they then have current patients and people that are there. And they're able to now quantify and see 2, 3, 4 years early, sometimes as much as five, I've read, someone that is in the pre-cancer stages and then start zapping it, whether it's on the skin, whether it's internal and getting to it. So that's helping people right now, here and there. So
This could
from,
continue to get better.
and I know you asked from the cyborg perspective, meaning like, are
And
they
let's
good?
talk about the health though, man. I mean, like, you know, a lot of people they're scared of AI, right? They say that it's like, oh, like look at all the deep fake shit out there. Look at all the fake videos. I can't tell what's real. You know, it's not good for the kids or whatever. But like people never talk about the good stuff. Like, yeah, it's gonna completely change the way healthcare is. You know, we're not even going to need doctors at a certain point. It's just going to be technology scanning us. You know, it's going to be able to find underlying diseases, chronic diseases you didn't know about. It's going to help look at all your vitamin levels, your minerals, and just dial it in, man. Like, and
It's a
that's not that far away. I think that's like in 10 years, you know?
it's a hot topic. It sounds like paradise, but it has to be done correctly and ethically, right? So ethics and morals is always a
Well,
big
there's always
topic
going to
in
be money
society.
involved in health, right?
Exactly. So if people are able to monetize it, they will use it to their benefit. So when it comes to like corporations and the way that capitalism or neo-capitalism or whatever you want to call it, in this almost, it's not really like a straight capitalistic society because in ways, it is true like the top 1% has way more than the other 90, or
Yeah.
however they
Yeah. It was like
conceptualize that.
during COVID, it was the biggest transfer of wealth to the one percenters
Yeah, and
in history.
it goes back to that. So like they always talk about like the pharmaceutical industry and how they use that to their advantage and the shareholders know because of inside trading. And it's just this big web and diagram that you could just start connecting everything to everything. I mean, let me put it this way. I didn't know until Camille told me. Camille's my wife, for anyone that doesn't know.
Yeah.
She said that like, oh, hot Cheetos, like you've been eating that your whole like childhood and you love that shit. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And I stopped, honestly,
Rotting your brain.
I subconsciously did stop after like she started telling me like just read what's on there, like all the colors, all the artificial like ingredients.
Oh, it's terrible.
And I read, and someone's gonna need to fact check me because it's very easy and this is a whole nother debate too. It's like almost like I have ADHD, right? It, people on podcasts could be spreading misinformation. So just because I'm saying I heard something from someone or I read something doesn't factually make it true.
That's why I started this podcast. I just want to spread false information, dude.
Yeah, you want to be a Trump supporter, huh? Ignorant,
No,
huh?
fuck no.
But I read that there's petroleum linked in hot Cheetos. So you're gonna have to Google that shit and
Yeah.
tell me if there's actually like petroleum or like oils that are like literally like is that true? Does it say what
So
does AI say?
it says petroleum isn't a direct ingredient in hot Cheetos. The artificial colors in the products,
So that's what it is.
specifically red 40 Lake and yellow 6 Lake, are derived from petroleum.
So it's like you're consuming like oil then.
Yeah, a derivative of it. I mean, it's just so processed that there's probably very minimal, and there's just, like we're talking about, all kinds of other bullshit in there.
But even at the micro level, that's like us consuming like plastic water bottles and there being microplastics running through it.
Yeah,
So
BPAs.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. Like I think going back to the original question, like does AI help? Is it something that people should get on? People should get on it because unfortunately trends, people need to get on it or you're gonna be left behind, you're gonna be a dinosaur. You're gonna be that old man or person that says like, old dog can't learn new tricks.
Hmm.
But you have to see for yourself, have an open mind, and say like, how does this help me, and what can I use it for that's most beneficial in my life? For some people, they're not good organizers in life. They don't know how to organize like their finances. Some people don't know how to organize their household. Some people just don't know how to do things in general. Like me, I can't cook, but I'm sure I could learn how to cook. It's just me being lazy in reality. If I watch videos on YouTube, I can learn how to do things. It might not be the best, but
You
I
can
can
learn
learn how to
anything
do
on
it.
YouTube.
So if people use that to their advantage to actually learn, I think that's when it's most beneficial. But if you use it to then hence substitute your brain, basically,
Yeah,
your knowledge, and you say, like right now, like when I was saying, oh, you're going to have to look that up.
right.
In reality, I should have had the rationalization, the memory
No, it's good to
to
look
tell you.
stuff up like that, though,
It's good to look it up
Right.
because I don't want to spread misinformation, but you should be able to conceptualize something without using your phone as a tool. Because like that's why like the readers in America are statistically millionaires because they seek growth, they seek learning new ways. They're not stubborn in their ways, saying this is the way it's always been, so this is the way it's going to be. They're opening their minds to new experiences. Kind of like you when you travel,
Yeah.
it's cool to go see different cultures. And that's why I tell Camille all the time. Like my culture might have a lot of similarities to yours. She's Irish American, I'm Mexican American, but there's still things that are just
We both like to drink,
conceptual.
right?
We love to drink, but
We like to party.
we like to party. We like
Shawty
to
want to party.
have a lot of kids, Catholic. You're basically Mexican at that point, right? You're basically Irish, but there are still conceptual differences that then you have to be open to and be like, okay, well, out of this is a respect thing for them, and vice versa. Like, to be honest with you, like when it comes to driving to an LA, you know how everyone drives. They drive what we consider crazy over
Fucking
here.
maniacs.
And also different cultures, and I won't name what cultures, but there's some
Oh,
that are
I
stigmatized.
know what you're talking
There's
about.
some that are stigmatized to say these are terrible drivers and they cut people off. But I don't personally know because I don't even have a friends list of those different um, um, like ethnic groups that I'm talking about right
What is
now.
that ethnic? Which letter does it start with?
I'm
Dude,
not gonna say that.
you don't want to get
No,
canceled.
I'm gonna be a
All
politician to
right,
say
that's
it.
fine.
I refuse to answer that.
Hey man, you just got married a week ago today.
Hmm.
How does it feel?
It feels. I've been telling this to a lot of people, and I'll say the same exact answer to you. It feels great, but nothing's changed. Meaning, as long as you're the genuine person and you're constantly like communicative, open, honest with your partner, and yeah, you're gonna mess up and fuck up. That's a fact. But as long as you're always open, communicative, authentic, respectful in a relationship, it should be pretty automatic and easy where it's like not you necessarily being a new person. It's just you being more open to new ideas, to new ways of acting, but not to the point where you're changing your core or who you are at heart, the way you
Yeah,
grew up. Again,
who you are.
yeah, it's who you are. Like who I am, who I was in my relationship, still the same person, but I definitely have to be more keen on like being more mature, being more proactive compared to being like, lazy about things that maybe I see as little or other people might see as little. Like, oh, I don't want to do chores this weekend, or I don't want to do this or do that or wash dishes. Like those are the minimalistic things that in reality should be easy and shouldn't be a point of contention in a relationship, right?
Yeah,
So I just have to be more open and not only say it but do it. It's really the actions that's stronger than the words, and that's always been the case. All these
yeah,
cliches in life, I think, have a lot of validity to them, especially when you actually practice them.
yeah. I think you're right. It doesn't change things, but at the same time, it does completely open a new chapter, right? Because it changes the way the relationship. It changes the title of the relationship, right? And like, I assume from like the woman's perspective, it probably changes things more than for the man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like me, like bringing up the chores and that and this, like not just they, but anyone in a relationship, whether it's man, man, woman, woman, whatever, whoever, like they're gonna want you to step up. You don't get married and then step down or be like, oh, it's
Yeah,
smooth sailing for like that person's gonna do everything for me.
get to kick back now.
Yeah, it should be that you're both putting in effort, and when the other person can't because something happens, like they're sick or they're not feeling it that day or whatever, that you should be able to be like, hey, I'm gonna step up and do that because I want to for that person.
Right.
But yeah, it's good, man. It's good. I mean, I never thought that, and I said this like in my vows, like when I was younger, I never actually knew what it was going to look like to be married. And in many ways, like our generations, if they feel so behind compared to the previous, because if you look at the stats, like I don't have a house yet. That's like a big like factor like in society. Like, oh, do you have a house? Do you have like a good paying job? Do you have this? Do you have that? And you start comparing generations to generations. We seem pretty behind, but it also in a way is positive, believe it or not. Like we seem and look and feel younger than previous ones. You look at pictures of like people in the 70s and 80s that are in their
In high school.
yeah, our age now
Yeah.
or in high school, they look much more mature. Now, again, not trying to go back to the diet conversation, but although a large portion is that affecting
Yeah, that's
hormones
true.
too and stuff like that, and your testosterone levels, males, like all these things could be linked to these all like the diet, socioeconomics,
Right.
psychology, whatever. But it is interesting, like once you read like the different generations to different generations.
I have not been married, allegedly. So I'm just wondering if it's something you would recommend.
You didn't get married in Thailand or Colombia or anything like
I
that?
threw the alleged out there, but yeah, would you recommend doing it? You know?
I 100% recommend it, but it has to be with a person that genuinely loves you for all of you. So if they could see you at your worst, where, no one should ever have to be at their worst, but meaning like the way they react to things or whatever that person may not agree that that's a part of them, like the stubbornness, that's an attribute that hopefully you could get rid of or like
Dial it down.
dial it down. Then yeah, yeah, I do. I mean, and you have to genuinely love that person because the way that The way I've seen it in relationships in my life, and even my now mother-in-law told me the day after, she's like, my she said, "My, husband," which is my father-in-law, would literally die for me, and, like, I felt, like, the intenseness when she was saying it,
Yeah.
and I knew what she genuinely thought that is true, you know? I've never heard him say that now, not to disrespect him, but
But
he's a quiet guy too, so
it's there.
oh, yeah, I know
You'll
so.
you'll wrestle a fucking bear for your
Yeah,
wife.
yeah, he'd do it and I would do it because at the end of the day, when you make that lifelong commitment, it's no longer what you want first. It's what the other person wants first, and you second.
Yeah. So the caterpillar, it goes through one of the most intense transformations in the animal kingdom, if not the most, right? Do you think the caterpillar knows that it's going to turn into a butterfly?
That's an interesting question. I don't, and again, not to sidebar, but it's still related with animal instincts and what you're saying. I don't really know to what degree animals can think or have feelings
Conscious?
or thought or conscious. That's always been a debate between researchers and anthropologists and people of that nature in that field. I don't know how intelligent us as intelligent beings and animals really are. So I want to say no, just from like a logical perspective, but from like a heart perspective, me thinking with my feelings, not with my mind. I want to say they kind of do and they embrace it, but I don't know. That's really hard to answer.
And so, similar to the caterpillar, when we're going through seasons of change, do we know it's happening?
A lot of people don't. They're not conscious of it, you know. I mean, and we make excuses and or we justify it in our mind, so then our body just reacts, right? So like your brain is going to be stronger than the body sometimes. Your mind, if you're that kind of person, I should say. So like for me, when I've gone under like immense levels of intensity and stress,
Hmm.
I just pushed my body to do things, and your body transforms. Either you cope with it and you eat a lot, so you gain weight, or a lot of people lose weight.
Drink,
And for me, it went up and down. Yeah, drink,
just have different vices, right?
different vices, but it happens, and then all of a sudden, because humans are terrible at gauging not just reality, and to be honest with you, but like time. And the reason I say reality
Made up.
is well that and the reason I say reality is not that people are crazy necessarily. It's just that we tend to make up a lot of things in our minds. And if people aren't directly communicating that with you, then people get upset because they're like, "Oh, well, you're basically saying that, but you're not saying that." And it's like, "Well, no, if that's not what I'm saying, that's not what I mean." But there's also miscommunications,
Yeah.
and even if it's not a direct communication loop with someone, a lot of the times people think like, "Oh, like they overthink things too." Like, "Oh, like when that person said this or did that, and their body language was like this and that, I think they were really saying or doing this."
Yeah.
But
It's on everyone's head, right?
it's
Pretty
yeah,
much any fear, pretty much any roadblock, it's on it's you got to get past your own self first, right? It's no one's stopping you. I mean, especially in America, right? Right here where we're at.
there's
There's a
a
lot of opportunity.
there's a lot of
And
cliches.
with that, you think the American dream is still alive?
Oh, 100%. And anyone that says it's not is wrong. There's a reason why there's so many people from many different countries, not just south of the border, but other countries still come here. That is why, by the way,
We need to send them back.
well, that is why, by the way, statistically, immigrants are more likely to be millionaires than a second or third or fourth or fifth generation American because we become so succumbed to a lifestyle that we believe we deserve, whereas immigrants that come from a different country come and look at it as a privilege. They say, "Hey, like God or whoever they believe in a higher being or lack thereof." Gave us this opportunity and we're not going to waste it. So they grind and they try to own things and processes. When people build businesses, the reason why people are really, really successful that has nothing to do, well, I shouldn't say nothing to do, but at the end of the actual realization of a successful business, I should say, has nothing to do with you at
Hmm.
the end. It's actual process that you built. If you're able to go open the door, unlock it without ever stepping foot in the business, of course, I mean figuratively and physically, right? So if I own like a bakery and all I ever have to do is open, all I ever have to do is open the door and close it for my employees, but they can run it and I get paid dividends,
That's an
that's when
entrepreneur.
you know you're a true business owner because people that have to actively be there and sacrifice their bodies and mind all the time, it's commendable. No one's saying that you're here to disrespect those people because a lot of those people, when I say those people, the entrepreneurs, the people that try to build something for themselves that's greater than working for someone else, have a lot of balls doing that because most people don't do that.
Yeah,
Nine out of 10 people don't do that, or whatever the actual statistic is, right?
people just rather have a safe check, right?
Safe check, W-2. But when it comes to immigrants, they build the shit out of their business, and a lot of them start then own more than just that particular business or that particular side hustle. They then have another source of income stream, another source, and
Like,
if
look at Mexicans, man. I mean, I think we got an entrepreneur spirit. We're not all good entrepreneurs, but you see a guy that's a taquero, he'll be a fucking DJ too.
Mhm.
He'll be setting up chairs at quinceañeras, and then he'll still show up to work in El Campo in the morning.
I told that to Camille. I told her, I'm like, the guy that she hired, because she hired him in reality, not like her parents or anybody else, or not even me. I didn't even meet the guy till I saw him for the family reunion. He lives here in Europe, in our area. I don't know if I'm allowed to say where we live or what.
No, let's just keep it on the DL.
He said that he primarily actually washes cars, but then he'll also cook tacos and he'll even play music, basically try to DJ,
And he's
right?
Mexican.
Yeah, he's Mexican. I mean, again, it doesn't have to be like that particular race. It could be, I've seen Russians, I've seen Indians, I've seen people from Europe that show up and they take advantage of the situation, right? So that is like the one thing that definitely hit me when I started reading these books. I'm like, why don't they teach this in school? Like, why don't they teach you that
Because John
it's
D.
an
Rockefeller wanted a bunch of worker bees, right?
the system needs worker bees for it to work. So if people aren't paying into the system and taxes, then it would collapse overnight. If everyone just revolted and say we're no longer going to be part of this, then it wouldn't work, right? So yeah, I think a big part of it is that it's ingrained in society that hey, like just work and work your 9 to 5, and then 40, 50 years from now you can retire,
How many
and you
people do you think are just living life on autopilot?
a majority of Americans are, and a majority of people in the world are, and it's not their fault.
It's pretty
That
sad, right?
the people that are not living in America, I say it's not their fault. People that are living in America, it is, but it's usually attributed to ignorance or a mixture of ignorance and being scared. And
Or just their situation, right? Some
well,
people.
that's what I'm saying, like being scared of the situation because there's always bills to pay, right?
Mhm.
Other people in different countries don't even have that opportunity. If you ask someone in China, outside of Hong Kong, basically, hey, like, would you like to start a coffee shop? Maybe they'll say, like, I would love to start a coffee shop, but over there, there's political and physical and other harms that could happen to you that doesn't even allow them. Whereas over here, the thing we're even doing right here is exercising our right of a First Amendment free speech. That is slowly, and not to get too political, but is changing and morphing, and it's a very dangerous time in American history right now. But just because the fact that we have that right makes us the best country in the world. And again, I was born here, so that is me being more uh like
Patriotic.
not subjective, basically.
Yeah.
But if you talk to, I mean, you went across the world. If you talk to people from different countries, yeah, they hate us. They hate us
No,
because they,
I think there is some people that dislike us. I think they just more so dislike the idea of America or like Trump. People don't like Trump and it's fucking valid, right? The guy's a fucking tyrant, you know?
Mhm.
I don't like any politician, don't agree with either side. But no, for the most part, dude, I think people do have a good reputation of America from my travels. There's a couple that have have shit against us, but hey, America has committed great atrocities, right?
There's some dark history, but in that short time frame of our, I think next year's our 250th anniversary of being free from British rule.
Hmm.
There's been so much that's been achieved that's what makes it the strongest and greatest nation in the world. We have no doubt the most debt out of any nation. We have the most this, most that, and a lot of negatives, but the positives outweigh the negatives. And we need to continue to build on that. But there's a lot of dynamics going on right now politically that is affecting this nation. And it really could be a Venezuela or other country, not to be named, like off the top of my head, as I'm saying,
Cuba.
because yeah, I mean, really just fill in the blank, anything, because if you allow basically the people that have the power to abuse it, that is like the exact opposite of what this nation was founded on when the founding fathers founded it. They did it because they wanted to get away from tyrannical rule. And in a way, you have almost an oligarchy in the United States too. Because again, it's people that have the power, whether it be because of the straight fluid cash they have or wealth built on assets, that allows them to then influence things, mainly or majorly now elections and or social media cycles. So if I have the most money, I could put on social media what I want. And again, the misspread of misinformation and fake news. Or I could just rig essentially legally an election by playing the same ad over and over again for a whole election cycle. So there's a lot of good, but there's a lot of bad, and that's pretty scary, honestly.
Yeah. Do you believe in ghosts?
And Ghost?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to.
You don't want to?
I don't want to believe that they're real.
All right. But do you think there's a possibility?
There's always a possibility of everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the possibility that there's aliens?
You believe in aliens?
I don't want to believe in aliens as well, because that's another thing that human beings like we're naturally scared in reality down to the core on the possibility, I should say, not the fact, the possibility that there's more out there than just ourselves,
Yeah.
and we don't want to believe that basically God didn't create this, right? But I always go back to this to make myself feel more comfortable, but I also truly believe it. I truly believe that if we were as complex as we were or are and have all these intricacies, the way that even where we live, meaning the way that Earth is positioned in the solar system and the Goldilocks zone, as they
Perfect
say,
situation, right?
it's the perfect situation. But as we know in life, there's no such thing as perfection. So the fact that it occurred, and if they want to say statistically you could repeat it a billion times and it would have happened or whatever, then that's when I just answer and say it's God, because He created the whole solar system, everything. And for whatever reason, if He actually wants there to be other life forms out there, then so be it. But same thing. There's never been proof. They have all those shows like Ancient
I
Alien,
think
stuff like that.
there's proof of aliens, man. Look at El Niño de la Tierra. Look at the potato bug. You ever
Yeah,
see
those
you
those
ever look at
things,
that thing?
those little fuckers
You
are
ever
ugly.
really observe that guy?
Those fuckers are ugly, man.
He's a little ugly motherfucker.
Well, what do you believe? Let me ask you that question. Do you believe, like, right now when I was referencing ancient aliens, right? So you look at the way that the pyramids were built, you look at other ancient civilizations that had what we call technology, but for them it's really like just a wheel or like a wheel mixed with like rope to be able to do this, and that. To you, does that hence mean that or equal?
There had to be some kind of divinity at play, man. Because I mean, how were they building that shit back then? You know, they were not just coming up with that on their own. You know, or there's technology that we don't know about, right?
There's science supposedly that attributes it to it. The same way that they say like the pyramids were built. They have like multiple like theories on that. I think any of those theories could be true, and I don't think it has to necessarily equate to that being a life form that is not of this earth.
Yeah. If you didn't marry an Irish, which ethnicity do you think you would have got with?
I like how we went from aliens to ethnic questions on marrying an Irish. You know what, man? I mean, I'm gonna stick to my guns here and say that it was always gonna be her, and it was always gonna be an Irish American, and particularly her name was always gonna be Camille Elizabeth McLean.
Yeah, that's pretty lovely, but I'll just answer it for you. I think you would ended up with yeah, some other Caucasian, you know. It would have been a fucking British girl or something, German, who knows.
To each their own on their
What
guess.
can you tell me about Irish people, man? You got a little insider trading info on them now that you're married into an Irish family. What do you got to say about them?
I think that's an interesting question because I think we kind of talked about it earlier, but everybody is a human being. We're all the same at the end to our core at the end of the day.
Hmm.
We have little things that make us different, especially in different ethnic groups. But I mean, especially if you're going to be comparing those two specific groups, there's a lot of similarities. So, like I said, I mean, you have that they're family orientated, that they have large gatherings with their family, that they like or love to drink,
Hmm.
that they I don't know, they sing. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like it's a case by case basis. I mean, maybe what I see in her family isn't necessarily true for another Irish American family.
Sure, sure, but just this is just a case study, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, but to the other cliche that I always hear, like that you hear your grandparents say or a family member, it's like we all put on our pants like one leg at a time. So
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it comes down to, dude. There's really not huge differences. I mean, again, food, I like shit spicy. They like stuff more.
Mexican food is superior.
Dude, honestly, though, statistically, by the way, if you look at recent reports, more and more people from every country are gravitating towards Mexican food. It's like ranked consistently Mexican food in general
We got
as number one in the world.
we got on this chart we got Italian number one,
Okay.
Indian two, Japanese three,
Bullshit on an Indian, by the way.
you're being racist. Mexican four, and Irish is nowhere to be found. I'm sorry.
That's still top five though. You
Yeah.
know what? So again,
I don't even know what Irish cuisine is. Corned beef
honestly, dude,
hash,
yeah, like corned beef hash, I guess.
beer,
Beer.
beer. Do an Irish accent. Can you do it?
Conor McGregor, UFC fighting. I mean, they got like three national treasures, I guess. They got Conor McGregor, they got beer, which would be what's that beer you used to drink, bro?
Guinness.
Yeah, Guinness. That shit. Now honestly, dude, I didn't never drink Guinness until recently, and then
It's good on tap.
I've never had it on tap. I want to go to Dublin and try it because that's where the museum's at too, and the distill or brewery, not distillery. And they say it's really fucking good. Time will only tell if I ever go and try it though.
If Ireland offers you citizenship, are you gonna be honored to take it?
No, not there. I would take it in Mexico or Italy
Wow.
or Portugal or even Spain, I guess. But I'm sure that a lot of those countries actually make you pay into that kind of shit
Oh yeah. Which part of Mexico would you want to be in?
to live.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, man, but I'm gonna tell you the cliche. It's gonna be Cancun.
Hey, it's not cliche, bro. It's fucking nice there.
I loved it there. I mean, even with like them having their little fucking hurricanes or whatever you want to call them. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I would still be down to be over there.
Little typhoons.
Yeah, or typhoon or whatever how they call it.
Yeah. Um, let's see, man. Like I know you're like a big country listener. You like listening to country and rap. You kind of go all over the place. What's like a genre of music people wouldn't expect that you listen to?
So like the swinger era or artists, so like Frank Sinatra and people like really just Frank Sinatra, I should say. I mean,
The
every once in a while,
upside down pineapple music,
no, what's upside down pineapple music?
swinger.
They call it that?
No, you know, like swingers, they say they put an upside down pineapple, and that's how they find you know, their
I've never heard that before.
potential target.
I've never heard that before.
Well, try it out. Go to next time you're in the grocery store,
You're
see if
put,
it works. See
you're
if it works.
putting you're putting me onto something new, dude.
Yeah. So you like listening to like the older music, the big band swinger type shit?
I do like listening to it, and I did. I haven't in a while, but if you're asking me particularly like something in my repertoire that someone might be like, "Oh, he listens to that," based off of either my appearance or the way I talk, I think that would kind of surprise people. So like Frank, Dean Martin, I like Dean Martin a lot actually, even though some of his music's kind of more commercialized,
Yeah.
like for movies.
He's the
Um,
guy that died in that pretty close here, right? Dean Martin in the car accident.
no, that's that other guy. That guy was an actor.
Who was it?
I'm not remembering his name.
Yeah.
He was also, yeah, he died like out in was that the 40, 41, 41?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um What's something that you think the world needs to know about you that they don't know?
About me,
Yeah.
honestly, not really anything, dude. I mean, that's
No,
funny.
don't do yourself like that.
It's funny to say, but if you like compare people that are ultra rich, ultra famous, compared to the people that still have riches in many different aspects, right? So, and family, because family and friends makes you very wealthy. There's a lot of people out there that don't have family or friends, and that makes them very sad, and it
Yeah.
makes them depressed. So I have that. In terms of actual fortunes for it could sustain a lifestyle, I rather much have all that and be low key and not have to be the loudest in the room or be known by every person than be the politician or be the ultra billionaire and have to always watch your back, always have to pictures always taken of you, things like that. So if I want them to know me for something, I want them to not know me. So that's why I
Yeah.
gave you that answer.
You want to be a low key, like under the radar businessman.
I want to be able to enjoy my life, basically.
Yeah, you don't want to have the spotlight on you.
Yeah, man, the spotlight phases and kills, man. I mean, it could be a big reason why you're not happy actually. Because you always have to keep up this imagery, which I don't want to actually I was gonna say a facade, but for some people it's not a facade. It truly is who they are.
Right.
But everything that they say or do is nitpicked. So even me doing my hand motions in this video, the way I talk, enunciated, the way I look, there's gonna be people that don't like any of those
Fuck
things.
them.
And but you say fuck them, but a lot of people can't actually move past hearing it. I mean, dude, even just showing this video to a family member, they could be like, I didn't agree with a lot of the things they were saying. And imagine having to get that feedback and just be okay with it or
No,
be quiet about it, you know?
yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a good reason to do it, man. You want to stir up the pot with your family and friends, you know? Gives you something to talk about next time
Sure.
you see them. You know, stir up the caldo, stir up the pozole, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. That's an interesting question. I have a question for you though,
Yeah,
because
go for it, man.
I thought about this, especially as mortality becomes more of an issue
Hmm.
as you get older, right? That's what
Yeah,
I mean by issue.
we're aging.
What do you think happens to you when you die?
Um, yeah, man, I think that you just kind of ascend into whatever you imagine.
Whatever you imagine.
Yeah, like I personally want to go to like you remember like Yellow Submarine, the Beatles? Have you seen that music video? I don't want to be like that.
I've heard the music many times, but I don't think I've ever seen the video.
I just want to be on LSD, you know, just fucking chilling in the abyss, having a good time.
Wait, but like, it's just,
No,
I,
I don't know,
I
man.
don't know if that's a serious answer.
It's hard to think about it, man. It's no one knows, you know. No one's ever been able to tell us because when you're dead, you're dead, right?
But isn't it pretty hard to conceive the notion that just nothing happens? Because I've heard many people say that that's exactly what happens. That you're gone. And that's it. It's like,
I
how do
hope
you
it's
have
not
that?
that.
But how do you have that much energy, that much heart? Literally, it's something that we quantify with feelings, saying like, oh, if you have a lot of heart, you have, and then you like start attributing all these different attributes. Like, how are you able to just be here one day, gone the next, and just nothing happens?
It can't
I
be nothing, right?
I just think it's pretty hard to conceptualize that. Like, I at bare minimum, does your energy go somewhere? Like, people believe in reincarnation. People believe that
You
like
become an animal.
you're just always there. Yeah. Like, do you ever succumb to thinking like it's any of those possibilities?
Um, nah, I think, yeah, I think our energy, it does go somewhere. There is some type of spiritual realm that, our, our soul goes to, right? It's not going to be your human version. You know, like I look at us right now, we're just like in a vehicle for our soul. You know, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's the way I look at life, you know? I mean, not something I constantly think about, but sometimes I'm just like, you know, it feels I feel like a foreigner looking through outside lenses. Do you ever feel that way?
I think that when you think about it too much, that's what doesn't allow you to live in the moment. But when you do it every once in a while and you pace yourself, just like pacing yourself with any other thing in life, because I almost find that to be both a negative and a positive, even bringing it up. That's why I tend not to talk about it too much with people, especially people I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Unless they bring it up for whatever reason. Um, it's something that is really tiptoeing the seesaw and the conversation. Like that's not really something that people really talk about too often. But when I do, I do it to remind myself of the mortality and the cliche of like tomorrow's never promised. Like you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. It's unfortunately true. So I do tend to think about that when like bigger things are happening in life, and then also to then detoxify a situation and be like, you know what, A, B, C, and D is really small things, and don't sweat the small things. Like there's so many things that it's easy for me to let go, and quite literally, like someone could tell me something, and I'm just like I do react, which is a negative. In reality, I should be proactive and not react. But I will react, and then the next day, in reality, I'll just be like, it's done, like whatever.
Yeah, like that kind of plays into the law of detachment. I don't know if you've ever heard that. That's something I've been kind of getting into lately. It's just like the more you detach, the more you let go of things, the more the things that are actually meant to be in your life start coming towards you. People, the opportunities, you know, just things like that.
I think that's positive, but that's also almost to a certainty a negative too, though. You don't want to detach to the point where you just say that I don't feel anything and anything that
No, well,
happens to me is whatever.
it's not about being numb. It's just about, like detaching from low vibrations, I guess.
Yeah, I think communication, right? So like what we're doing right now and what a lot of people should do is going to be a ginormous positive for their life, no matter what chapter they're in or age or whatever. Because once you start to get those different perspectives of people of like what they thought or what they were thinking then, so like if you're talking about the past, right? If people want to bring it up, you then start to realize that that person was thinking or feeling things that you would have never thought and you could only have assumed, but assuming things that's like one of the worst things you could do.
Oh yeah.
If you hear it from the horse's mouth and then you start feeling it in the present too, you're like, oh well, this is kind of what that person was feeling or thinking, and it helps kind of bring things into perspective.
Mm,
Like that's what I talked to my grandma about today, and I was like telling her like, wait, so how did like this kid react to this,
mm.
and like what were you feeling like? Because I told her like in my life I hate feeling like stressed and I hate feeling like, oh, I'm working towards this goal because it's like the classic movie scene or like TV show or whatever. Like there's people that have strong ambitions. So I don't want to say they'll do like whatever it takes, but they'll do quite a bit to succeed. But then they feel empty when they reach the pinnacle because they hence lost a lot on the way, whether it be moral or not morality. I guess it's like ethics and values or family or relationships. Well, a big part of it's actually relationships. And once they're there, they feel empty. And the reason why you feel empty is because,
Just the chase.
yeah, it's really the chase and you being in the present and people you're surrounded with being there with you and you talking to them or even if you don't talk about it, at least they know what you're going through, but you're able to still have a relationship compared to sacrificing all those things and just getting there. So then, like, I asked her, I'm like, oh, like, well, how did you feel like when my grandpa was trying to, I don't know if you want to say be like a superstar or whatever the hell you want to say, but
He was
if
chasing the music career, right?
and you know what, like, I should ask him too, right? Because I don't actually know. Like, he said things, but I've never been like super blunt and been like, so what actually was it? Like, is it just because the love of it? Yada yada yada. Like I don't know. Right now I'm just kind of throwing shit out there and I really don't know. But when I asked her, I'm like, because I told her like when me, the last 7 months, inconsistently, but somewhat consistently, if I had to average it out, maybe like there was some like red line days where I did 15, 16 hours, other days where I only did 8. So let's just say average over the last 7 months, it was like 11 and a half or
Per
10
day.
per day. I told her, I'm like, well, like, I don't want to keep doing that because I could already see it affecting my health and relationships and this, and that. Like, how did you feel about him being gone? Like, and how long was it? Like, was it really this? Like, I asked her, like, as if I didn't know because I didn't know. And she's like, like, I did stuff with my kids and he was gone, but like, Also, he said that it wasn't like their fault that I was gone. So like she'd wake them up early still and they'd go do things. But I don't know how often they did things. I don't know how each
Yeah.
person felt about it. So I've never really asked.
It's just part of chasing your dreams, you know, as a man or as a person. There's always going to be sacrifice, right? You're going to miss out on things. You're going to miss out on
But
family.
should it come at the expense of your kids or loved ones?
That's just a question that you got to ponder for yourself. You know, is it really worth it?
Well, and what is it that's worth it too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
What's the end goal?
well, like it's a hard question, but I could ask it or like ask it of myself and answer it. So if you were to tell me like, hey, I'm gonna move away for 2 years straight, you're never gonna see me, but I know that you're genuinely happy, you're genuinely okay, and you become a better person for it. It's gonna hurt, you know, physically, literally in many ways. But if you genuinely are safe, if you genuinely are a better person, if you genuinely or like in every way it's really more positive than just the negative of being separated physically, then I would have to support that because I know that that person's doing better.
Yeah.
But if it's just so like wishy-washy where it's like a seesaw and you're just like, oh, it's tipping on both ends of the scale a lot, that's where you start to question like, okay, like is this genuinely worth it, right? And that's the thing that I always come to in terms of, oh, well, not always, but I should say I have more recently come to that question constantly. So, like, I ask Camille all the time, like, should I start like a side hustle or like to learn more things since like I'm getting bored or like getting, or I'm feeling like not bored, but I'm feeling like I don't want to tiptoe more on this side and be more stressed out. So I want to find a way out and be more genuinely happy. So should I start something as a side hustle that I genuinely want it to be like something that's lifelong? So like I told her, for me, I've always loved reading and memorizing things and spitting out, um, I say facts, right? But I guess right now through this podcast, I've asked you to
You're the
fact
human
check things.
Wikipedia.
No, no, I'm not a human Wikipedia. That would be Ernesto, dude.
Oh,
Ernie.
yeah. Bigger.
But I told her like I really like talking about like real estate, right? And as a recent liked really doing that, watching the shows, but I don't know it like the back of my hand. And
Why
you
don't you
have
go
to
learn it, man?
and you have to go practice it, right? So yeah, that's what I told her. I'm like, what if I took a class and I did it like, well, first you got to take the classes, right? So it's usually 2 or 3. Then you got to take the test, get brokered and licensed. But I told her there's no shame for me, and I don't care if I am legally or not just legally, but like if someone titles me as an intern on W-2,
Yeah.
even though I'm at a managerial position somewhere else, if I'm doing it every Saturday and Sunday, because there's a lot to learn. And when you learn stuff, that's what genuinely keeps me ticking. The more fundamentals and things I'm able to practice, the more it's like really cool. Cause like where I'm at right now, I'm seen as one of like the experts, but there's still a lot I don't know. And I'll tell them too. I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to have to go seek this answer from somewhere else. But over there, I like the idea of that because I feel like, I don't know if it's to be true, that if I learn like real estate, like business law with that, and I took business law in college, and everything else, and like learning to speak with people of different backgrounds and demographics. I would genuinely love it to the point where I could slowly but surely get out of something that I'm doing now because I want to make a decent living and then get out of it to make a really good living and be happy, right?
Yeah.
I think that's like the goal for a lot of people,
Definitely,
or
man.
just getting by.
So I'm not gonna have too many people on this podcast that know me like you do. You're my brother.
Mhm.
How would you describe me?
I would describe you as a person that loves and cares deeply and yearns and commands respect, but also uh, you highly respect and think highly of other people. Someone that genuinely wants other people to feel good when they're with them. Um, Someone that loves deeply. Someone that wants people to be happy, but you equally want to be as happy as them. Someone that really knows a lot more than a lot of people and has a lot of life experiences more than people that are age and is able to use that to their benefit. Like you've naturalistically, and I always said this, and I know you sometimes get mad, but like I genuinely think that it's very easy for you to like learn like mathematical skills or fundamentals and in a short period of time. Whereas for me and for other people, I won't speak particularly of who, but like for me, I hated mathematics. So then, hence, that was my result, right? So what you think usually ends up being your result. All the time. I mean, obviously, if you think like, "Oh, I'm going to be a billionaire," you don't become one. You're like, "Oh, well, I thought I was," so like it should have happened. No, no. I mean, like if you genuinely practice something and you pick at it, then you could unwind things that are uncomfortable to you. So like when I did like uh calculus and pre-calculus, I tried my hardest and I passed it in college and I got a B, but I was not going to pass it the first time around when I was younger. And for you, I feel like it's more natural or it comes naturally or there's something that's a part of you and your intelligence that it just clicks very easy. But I know that you don't care about it.
Yeah, it's
And
because I'm autistic, huh?
no, I didn't say that. I don't think that at all either. I just think that for whatever reason, it's just natural. For me, I had to try at it. I had to. It's like sing. Like for me, a song. In reality, when I was learning songs like country songs, like George Strait, and I know a lot of people hate this actually. Probably 9.5 out of 10 people would not do this, and this probably sounds insane. I would listen to a song on repeat like 10 to 15 times, like just one song just to learn it. And once I did, I knew it by heart. But also, I'm the kind of guy that like if it's been 10 years since I heard that song or 5 years, I'm not going to actually be able to repeat it. And I think that's most people.
Yeah,
But if I'm actively doing that thing, I will be able to memorize it. But if I am no longer exercising that muscle, I can't. And again, I think with you, you're able to not exercise the muscle, but all it takes is a couple tries or jabs at it, and you'll do it. So that's like it's really impressive, honestly. And it's the same thing with your yearn or balls to do anything that you're feeling like, oh, I want to try.
yeah,
Most people, for whatever reasons they make up in their mind or the societal reasons, can't or won't do that, right? So like I just talk to you about like possibly branching off and doing something different because like I feel like there'll be like a positive at the end of the tunnel because like I want to learn something new. I like it. I feel like it's going to be better for me. But with you, you'll consistently and constantly try that out to seek that happiness, whereas other people are kind of just numbing that, right?
yeah.
We're all like kind of numbing it because we have bills to pay or whatever.
I still numb it too, man.
But yeah, but that's very admirable that you're able to do that consistently,
Yeah,
where a lot
thanks.
of people are
Yeah,
not.
thanks for blowing smoke up my ass, man.
God bless those other guys. That was genuine. I mean, you asked me on the spot. It wasn't like I just had this written down on a notebook right now or something.
I thought you practice rehearsed that earlier.
No, I didn't rehearse it.
Yeah. What was it like growing up for you, man, as a second generation Mexican American?
That's like an interesting question, man, because now the glasses are coming off.
Here we go. All right, guys, we're how many minutes into the podcast and they're coming 57 minutes, they're coming up.
Perfect, dude. Only 3 more minutes and I'm done anyways, right?
Yeah.
Or is that what actually it is or no?
My producer said I can't get you more than over an hour five.
Who's your producer?
Some guy named Santiago.
So you're your own producer, recorder, commentator.
Yeah, I'm just, a man of worlds.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Didn't you go to Greece too, by the way?
Yeah, I went to Greece.
Did you go to like the Colosseum? Or not the Colosseum, what's it called?
The Parthenon.
Yeah, or like
I went,
Acropolis?
I went to the Parthenon. I wish I would have went to go see the sculptures, but I got kind of lost in the partying scene out there. It's a pretty nice party scene out there. They play a lot of cool house music and you know having a good time.
That's pretty badass. I think I'd be a mixture of both. Like, and I think Camille can attest to this. Like, again, I'm like an I say again because I just said my vows recently, but I'm an old man at heart. So like I do need that consistency. I do need that routine. Even though even myself I hate it at times, but then I'll break apart every once in a long while. Um, if I went to like Greece and went over there, I'd probably like dabble a little bit in that party scene, but I wouldn't be able to do that every single day. Nor would I just be able to lay on a beach every single day for like 5 days straight. I would have to be like a day or two straight, and then I'll be like, okay, no more just bumming it at the beach.
Yeah, not everyone's built to be Don Fiestas, huh?
Yeah, no, dude, definitely not. But to answer your question that you asked like a couple minutes ago about
Mexican American.
yeah, second generation. It's interesting, man. Like, I think I've told you this before in the past. I've talked to Camille openly about it quite a bit. It's really interesting because especially because my Spanish is now broken, you
Hmm.
know? Um,
Quebrado.
I guess it wasn't necessarily broken, or I was learning it. That was my primary language when I was too young to remember. But if you go to Mexico, right? I think you told me that even have been called like
Weddle.
a gringo, basically, or what?
Yeah, a lot of people call me Weddle there.
There were some people in Cabo and Cancun that looked at me as such, and they spoke to me in English, and I still spoke back in Spanish. And then they were surprised. And I don't know if it's also just my looks or what. Maybe like, do you have like an American look to you, right? Because they could pick you out as a tourist. You're like,
The
oh, well,
clothes.
you're a tourist, yeah.
You're not wearing a sarape like the rest of the Mexicans.
So when you're in our motherland, the place that our forefathers are from, our grandparents or our great grandparents and those
So forth.
previous, you feel like almost like you are truly just a visitor, right? Like I feel like I am like a tourist and they treat you as such. But then what's interesting is, and I don't mean disrespect to Camilla's family, like on either side, but there's just like that, like it's not prejudice, but there's people that you just like you feel it and hear it and the way they talk to you, they're like, oh, like well, you are like the brown guy, or the guy
Yeah.
that's not an American, but then you're just like you're looking around, you're like, well, I am American. Like I was born here, like I was part of the like the societal norms and all the things that came up, like popular culture, music, all that. And you definitely don't want to think about it too long, obviously, because it's just detrimental at the end of the day. But when people ask me that question, it's like I do have like a mix of both worlds where like I am able to talk to my grandparents in Spanish, and even if it's broken or not the best at times, it still passes, and it's able to like when I went to Mexico by myself, I was able to drive around, go in taxis, order food, whatever. And over here, like whatever, like I am American, and I speak, and I don't ever hear anyone say like you have an accent or a weird enunciation or anything.
Yeah.
But there's like the clashes of those two worlds, and it actually makes you wonder or think. And I've heard it sometimes from mom, and then I've heard it sometimes from mostly grandpa, at least not our other grandpa, like what it made them feel at the time. So it's interesting because, like you said, we're second generation. It's gonna be weird to see when there's like the third or fourth. So like basically like when I
Full
have kids,
assimilation.
yeah, and then they have kids, like
Yep.
what they actually feel. But maybe and hopefully, God willing, people are more open to the mixing of races because that's just happening more and more. But there's still definitely prejudice and or underlying tones that even if people say like, oh, no, don't think about that, like it is what it is, what it is, or like don't ever think about that, like it doesn't even matter. There's just still underlying things, like because Mexican, I'm sure people could just automatically assume like, oh, like actually, as a matter of fact, I could tell you people have told me this, like, oh, you eat tamales every Christmas and December. I'm like, I actually hate them.
Yeah.
I don't like to eat them every Christmas.
They're not. They're overhyped.
Not to say they're not around, right?
Yeah.
But
We're gonna catch a lot of flack for that. So you're a Mexican that doesn't like tamales?
I don't like to eat them, man. Not
Look
consistently.
at the camera and tell them all the Mexicans out there what you just said again.
I could do some like randomly, like maybe like in April or March when they're like nice and toasty.
Yeah.
When I want to do it on my terms, but I'm not going to have a fucking buffet for 31 days in December. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the problem with tamales, you make it for the whole fucking month.
For like
Yaletas.
2 months, bro.
Yaletas on
You got
yaletas on
you got
yaletas.
Three Kings Day, and you're eating that shit for Three Kings Day too.
Yeah.
But so that's like the baseline, right? Then it's like once you start becoming older, and if you again like so you're not supposed to think about it because then it will be detrimental, and then you're gonna have like a victim's mentality, which you never want to have. But then even me, like once I went from like going like K through 8 and primarily like 91%, 90% Hispanic, and only 10% mixed other races
Yeah.
and ethnic groups.
I grew
To
up in a
then,
bubble.
yeah, to then going to a high school where it was like the reverse, and then a university, which was the least, by the way, Cal Poly SLO is the least diverse state university in all of California.
I'm not
So
surprised, dude. I see all the snow bunnies
75%
out
or
there.
yeah, 75% of the population is Caucasian. But I got used to it because I saw it, at high school. But that is not representative of the state of California.
No, it's
The state of
diverse.
California is more almost 50-50. It's almost 50% Hispanic, 50% Caucasian. But yet, again, then we have all these little intricacies that I do think of at times, or like I did at that time, I should say. I really don't anymore, or try not to. Um,
Yeah,
eh,
like, cause for me, like growing up, like I didn't think about it as a kid, but like as a young adult, for me, it was a bit of an identity crisis, you know? Like we didn't catch the worst of it as a second gen. I'm sure the first, like our parents, you know, our moms told
their
us that
parents.
it was hard, but like it's like, oh yeah, like we're too brown to be American, but we're not, we don't speak Spanish good enough to be full Mexican. You know, it's kind of weird. And like, especially when I was traveling, people would look at me weird when I tell them like, "Oh yeah, I'm American," but they're like, "Oh yeah, where you really from though, man?" You know, I'm like, "Oh fuck you."
But then if you met, like, did you ever mess around, or like, so maybe it's not even messing around, but you were just like, did you ever just say instead, like, oh, I'm from Mexico, and see
Yeah,
how people reacted?
I would just say I'm from Mexico. That way, you know, don't get caught in the tourist traps. Be like, "Oh, I don't got money, guys. I'm from Mexico." You know,
But apparently enough money to travel to different countries, though. I'm sure people still thought you were like a rich Mexican at that point, right?
I just tell them I got a government aid to travel. You know,
Or
I'm
like you're a student on a student visa.
yeah, dude, I'm just representing the embassy. You know,
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting, man, because to go back to that point, something that I like really have reflected on more so over the last, let's say, 2 years specifically, by us working for that older demographic and generation at the family business, you get to understand like how much different generations before you, like say like that's four before us or five before us, depending on how old that generation was that you're talking to.
just the
Well,
difference in
no, no,
racism.
no. I wasn't gonna go straight to that. I was gonna say that you see that there's a lot of like underlying values that Gen Z has with like Generation X, and then the greatest generation, which is the people that were born like in the mid 1900s that fought in World War II, and how like they really were like the greatest generation because like the infrastructure they built, the society they built, like everything that they did, and
Early 1900.
like 19 like yeah like 1919
Dude, women
1910.
couldn't vote back then. I was at the greatest generation.
Again, I'm not saying like there wasn't negatives, but like, dude, let me put it this way. Before Eisenhower, which he was elected like in the 1950s, he was like president from like 1950, 51 to 54. And then, or he had an 8 year term actually. So that would be like 1950 to 1958. There was no interstate system. He literally built the interstate system. So like America wasn't connected in ways. And that's also maybe where the ignorance came from. People weren't able to go to different states unless they went literally in a buggy and a wagon, and it took them fucking 2 months, 3 months, just like in the early 1800s,
Yeah.
right? So it's a lack of communication, a lack of experience that causes the ignorance, right? The same way that you could go down to fucking Tennessee, Alabama. Like I hate to use a lot of these southern states, but you could go down there and they've never seen a fucking Mexican, or they've never seen a Nicaraguan or Guatemalan
You're
or
a luxury
Salvadorian.
out there.
Well, there's more and more people from South America going down south, down south in America, I should say. But there's a large portion of why people think things and are prejudiced is ignorance. It's
Yeah.
really, and unfortunately, it's not their fault. I'm not
Well,
saying it's okay.
we have the same prejudices, you know. It's
Oh,
like
for sure.
you look at white people and it's like, oh, you know, you guys eat fucking charcuterie boards, you know.
The rich white people, maybe. And if it's the poor white people, it's like it's the shit from the Dollar Tree, like a Salisbury steak that's $1.
Yeah, and then they look at us and they're like, oh, all you guys eat is shit coated in chile powder, right?
Yeah, tacos.
Taquín.
But no, man, like again, like so then you're able to then talk to people and be like, there's not so much different between us after all. And a lot of people are really good human beings and they have good hearts and they mean good by you. So then you just start comparing really what's similar, not what's not similar, and you relate on that and you become friends and family, and then the rest is history, and with time things get better. But again, right now it's a point of contention where like it's very politicized right now. Everything's very radical, whether it's radical left or radical right, and it's hard for people to now come to the middle and be like, yeah, I don't agree with this on this side, and I don't agree with this on this side.
That's what I don't get about America, man. Like I feel like people just have to choose a side here. It's like I'm either left or I'm right. You know, it's like why can't there be like a fucking Switzerland? You know, it's
It's
being neutral.
it's pretty weird, man.
Like, why do you got to choose a team? You know?
It's weird, dude. Like, I like am registered in Santa Barbara. Well, now Slow County because I changed my license recently, finally, after 5 years. And now I'm registered in Slow County. But for the longest time, I was registered in Santa Barbara County as a Republican, but I was voting for Democratic nominees. So like I voted for Biden, I voted for Kamala, even though I'm gonna be honest with you, I really didn't want to vote for either one of them, but I
Okay.
wasn't gonna vote for Trump. But the reason why I am registered as a Republican is because locally and nationally, uh, I should say in the past nationally, but locally, I do support a lot of the people that are running because like they have a lot of the values that I actually really like freedom of speech, gun rights, like all the things to me that are just very basic and should be a right. Where like more people are like trying to like throw more restrictions on that are left leaning. But again, like nationally, I don't agree with any of the MAGA Republicans, but a lot of the guys that went against the MAGA Republicans, I did like the grand old party in the way that we used to be, like in the
Yeah.
'80s. Like,
GOP.
yeah, like I really like John McCain. John McCain and his dad were both
Cool name.
military veterans. So John McCain Sr. was an admiral in the Navy, and then his son was a POW in the Vietnam War. So John McCain got captured, served his country, then he chose to do be a public servant. And I really like that Republican Party because it was all about honor and like us as like Latinos and Mexican men. Like to me, it's like all about pride and honor. And they like serve the country, and then they serve the country after the fact by doing public service, being educated, and pushing forward society. And they genuinely wanted to do what was right for America, not right for themselves. A lot of people and a lot of politicians nowadays, even if it's always been the truth, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of them more openly nowadays are doing things and pushing agendas that are benefiting themselves and not the constituents.
Or who they're representing, right?
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
lobbyists.
So I hear I feel and hear even in my own voice the irony when people are like, oh well, how can you be like Republican if you're saying like you voted for Biden and Kamala, but you didn't even want to? Well, for me it's ethics. It's like I still feel like I couldn't in good faith and good conscience, knowing to the day that I go to the grave, that I voted for another person that's basically a fraud. And again, I know this isn't a political podcast, but like you kind of asked me and we kind of divulged into this. Like, if you literally read and watch documentaries about his family, and which by the way are immigrants, and that's like the ultimate irony in what's going on right now. They did things not honorably to get to where they're at.
It's fake news. It's fake news. CNN fabricated these stories against me.
And that's something I can't live with. I can't, I can't, well, I shouldn't say live with, right? Whatever. I'm still going to go on with my life. But like, if you're asking me and I'm directly like answering a question and I'm pro to it, I'm going to say his family has done really bad things to get where they are. They continue to do things that are not ethical at the minimum. And that is not okay.
Yeah.
And
Let's segue a little on the ethics, man. What do you think about OnlyFans girls?
that's interesting. I I don't know,
You
man.
support them?
That's a support them. I think that's like a no, honestly. But then again, at the same time, it's like you can do whatever the hell you want in this country, and as long as it's legal, like in reality, we should have no problems there, right?
I mean, if I had a nice set of chi-chis, I might do it, you know?
Dude, I mean, some of those people make like 1 million, 2 million a month by
There
doing
you
that
go.
shit.
I mean, wouldn't you do it if you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. To my answers, I don't know.
Yeah. You want another question, or what do you think? One more question?
You know what, dude? I was staring at the Zen a lot,
Mhm.
and it was making me think about a lot of different things.
All right.
So let me tell you what went through my mind when I was staring at it every once in a while in this episode.
What was going on?
Bunch of different shit. So like, one is this company publicly traded?
Yeah, it's Philip Morris.
Okay, so Philip Morris. Philip Morris owns like a majority of like the tobacco and alcohol brands, right?
Yeah.
So they're publicly traded. Do you know like what their market cap is and like all that shit?
I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, I could pull it up for you.
So like, I don't know.
But
I'm gonna assume it's like six. No, no, no. It's probably more than that. I'm assuming it's like
they're trading.
$500 billion or something like that.
They're trading at $166 per share, and the market cap is
All right,
$258 billion.
so I was somewhat close. I said 500 billion. You're saying 256.
Yeah.
A lot of politicians are backed by Philip Morris
Oh, you
on both sides of the aisle,
politicians are running on Zen. How do you think how do you think they're giving those great speeches?
and that's what I'm saying. You're like me by looking at this fucking product. There's a lot of shit comes to mind. The fact that we're using these plastics that we say are recyclable, which in reality take hundreds of years to degrade. The fact that there's politicians intertwined with this close to $300 billion company. The fact that we're marketing it towards kids and it says like we say that this is better than smoking a cigarette, but in reality this could still cause gum cancer. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of negatives to this, man, but a lot of people play into this shit, and I'm sure I don't know if like
I'm playing into it, man.
when you traveled, like did you see this like in like
Yeah, that was
Asia?
that was the first time I actually tried it, man. I had a layover in Turkey, and a guy that was Turkish Dutch, he gave me a 10. He's like, you got to try this, my friend. This shit is the most revolutionary drug. And I was very jet lagged, sleepy. He's like, pop one, you're gonna wake up. I fucking popped in. I was like, holy shit, dude, is this what exiting the Matrix feels like? I just felt awake for the first time in my life. It was a fucking hell of a head rush the first time. In a plane too. I was sitting next to like an Arabic chick too, and she's like, no, no, that's haram, brother. That's haram. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing on the plane? That's how.
Oh, is that really? They're not allowed to travel by plane?
Yeah, Arabic women have all kinds of constrictions. They gotta listen to the man.
I didn't know that part. But yeah, man, like the first time I ever tried this shit was at the Chargers game when I went with you and Camille. Dude, my fucking head felt like my brain
Yeah.
felt like it was numbed and at the same time like on fire.
Oh yeah, the second time I popped one, I puked, man.
Most people do actually.
Yeah,
So I mean,
and they still do it.
we won't go any further because I know I gotta. It's time to cut it
Yeah.
from one of the producers backstage. But
They're canceling you out.
we could talk about this off screen. Like, there's a lot of shit that comes to mind when I see this.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the first episode of the Noah Santiago Podcast. Thanks to Luis Valdez for being the first guest here. You guys have a blessed day.
Thanks, man.